Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of I See Bad Movies. I'm Dave Keane, and as ever, I am joined by the carbonara of humans, Emma Spicer.
Hi. What's that supposed to mean?
Well, it's just really to do with the movie we're watching, rather than... And I like carbonara.
Yeah,
Carbonara's great.
Who doesn't like carbonara?
Yeah, absolutely. I maybe I could have said an arrabbiata of
You
humans.
could have said, yeah.
You know, maybe, but I went with the carbonara.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. Eggy, cheesy, and meaty.
Okay, anyway, moving on.
Anyway, moving on. Well, hello, Emma. How are you feeling after last episode, and Captain America?
I've recovered.
Yeah?
I've got over it. I tried to block it from my mind until you just reminded me of it.
Oh, sorry. Oops.
It was possibly the most boring movie I've ever watched.
Yeah.
And I've watched some bad movies.
You have. You absolutely have watched some
But
bad
the fact
movies.
that we're both falling asleep, I think, was a sign that it was one of the worst.
Yeah, I'm hoping that today's movie
I'm
is
hoping we'll get some
absolutely
laughs
not.
out of this one.
Yes, fingers
Yeah.
crossed. So, do you want to tell the lovely listeners what we're watching today?
Okay, so we are doing superheroes, and it is Spaghettiman, which sounds amazing.
Yeah, at least I didn't call you the bolognese
Yeah.
of
That's-
that. I don't
yeah,
think that's
too common.
far too common.
Yeah.
Far too common. But if you get a really good carbonara, you know you've had a
I
really good
remember,
carbonara.
talking of spaghetti,
Yeah.
I remember somebody I dated when I was really young, like if I was about 20. And
Well, that's like last year,
he
isn't
went
it?
on a date, he went on a few dates with a girl before me,
Okay.
and he got the total ick and broke up with her because she offered him over once for some sketty. And he was like, oh, she can't even say spaghetti. No, I always remember that because it just really made me laugh.
Some sketty.
Yeah, sketty.
Does he like have any Italian in his was
Not
he
at
any
all,
Italian, or
but
is he
it
just a
just-
normal
it
human
just-
being
you know
that
when
can
you just-
pronounce the word spaghetti?
Some things just give you the ick.
Yeah.
Like I can't stand it when people say when they're trying to say genuinely, but they say generally.
Oh, okay.
It's like
Or
no, that's not what you mean.
Instead of
Or,
specifically,
yeah,
pacifically.
specifically.
Yeah.
And they have no idea they're getting it completely wrong, and they keep saying it. That really winds me up for some reason.
Yeah. So you're an elitist? No. Yes. No. Yeah. Fair enough. I used to work in a bank, and the teller next to me always said the wrong word like that. Like generally, genuinely, specifically, pacifically, constantly.
Yeah.
And there were times when she would substitute the word she meant to say with a word that was like the complete opposite,
Yeah.
but still made the sentence mean something completely
Yeah.
different because of it. It was
Totally
like,
oblivious.
what's going on?
I also think, how have you got to this
She was really
age?
lovely,
Yeah.
but that was
how
it.
have you lived this long
Yeah.
and not? I suppose nobody's corrected you. But how have you got this lot far along and not gone? Oh, that's not right.
Yeah.
But I remember watching. I was watching a dating show once, and this guy was chatting to this woman, and she was 40 odd.
Okay.
And he said, "Oh, have you got any siblings?" And she was like, "No." And then later on, she started talking about her brother. And he went, "Oh, so you have got siblings?" And she went, "No." And I thought, "What do you think a sibling is?" And I really wanted to shout on the TV, like, "How have you got to like 42 or whatever you are, and you don't know the word sibling?"
Maybe you've just never heard it.
But how
But
have you never
it
heard
seems
it?
odd though, doesn't it? Because it's like,
How have you never heard a word like that?
like sometimes if you're filling out what's happened when filling out like a survey or something, and maybe the survey says what your age range, have you got any siblings, or it's asking stuff about you. What she must have just filled in, no, I've got no siblings.
But also, if
Amazing.
I'm like reading a book or an article or something, and I come across a word that I don't know what it means, I've never heard it.
Yep.
I look it up. You've got Google on your phone constantly.
Yeah, things are
I'll
really
look it
easy.
up and go,
Yeah.
oh, what does that mean? Or I've heard a word a few times and I think, oh, I've heard that word over the years, but I've never really understood exactly what it meant.
Oh my God,
I'll look
yes.
it up.
Yeah. So I will hold my hand up to this, okay? I would look at the word awry.
Yeah.
Okay, I would say the word things have gone awry. I
Yeah.
get it. Things have gone awry, etc. But when I look at it written down, it's AWRY.
Yeah.
And whenever I would read it in a book, my mind would not put two and two together that was the word awry.
Yeah.
I would be like, things have gone awry or whatever. And I was
What
thinking,
does that mean?
ooh, okay, that must be a different word. It's just
Yeah.
because I'd never thought of the word awry, A-W-R-Y. I mean, of course it is, but that was just, I'm holding my hand up to that.
But that's the thing. I think it's different when you're reading, because obviously if you don't know how something's spelled, you
Yeah.
might be getting a word wrong and not realise. But you must have heard people say something as simple as sibling. Like you
Yeah.
must have heard that word in conversation over and over again when you've
It
met new
must
people.
have come up by the age of
People always
40 plus.
ask, yeah, people always ask things like, "Have you got any siblings?" Like just when you meet people at work and stuff, and you're getting to know them, and you're like, "Oh, tell me about your family," and you get chatting about that sort of stuff.
You
Unless people had only ever said to her, "Have you got any brothers or sisters?" And that's how they phrased it every single time. But I can't imagine that because siblings is just so much quicker. Like, would you say, "Have you got any brothers or sisters?" every single time? No, you wouldn't, would you?
But it's like that thing when they roll someone into an emergency department and they go, "I've got a GSW." It's faster to say gunshot wound than it is to say GSW.
And nobody knows what that is straight away, do they? So it's like,
I've got a gunshot wound. GSW. Faster, speedy, I don't know. Anyway, there may be some GSWs in Spaghettiman.
We've got to call it a Spaghettiman now. Isn't it funny the things you remember from like 20 years ago? I just remembered it because it just tickled me so much because he was so disgusted by it. And he was like, that's literally the reason I broke up with her, because she said, "Do I want some sketty?" And I thought, no. I don't want sketty because it's spaghetti.
But what if she couldn't say the word spaghetti, all right, but made the best spaghetti in the world?
Oh, that's your dilemma. Yeah, but then if you stay together and she makes amazing spaghetti, you're going to invite people over for spaghetti bolognese or whatever she makes with spaghetti.
And you're just sat there.
And she's going to be inviting people for some sketty, and then all the way through she's going to be going, "It's nice sketty, isn't it?"
And
you're
you
going to be sitting there
slowly,
going,
you're just angrier and angrier, like, "This is why we can't have nice things, Sandra." You go,
and then I've just got a picture of him just sitting there with her going, "Spaghetti." And
say it with me,
with
spa.
With like a whiteboard. Just like, spaghetti, breaking it up into syllables. Like on, what movie is it? Is it Big Daddy, where he's got the friend who, I can't remember where his friend's from, but he's trying to teach him English and he's showing him words and he's like flashing out words and his hippopotamus is one of them. And he's like, hippopotamus. I just imagine him with the spaghetti up on the board and she's going, sketty, sketty. Anyway,
yeah. Should we go through the synopsis of I can't call it Spaghettiman now. Clark doesn't care about you.
Is that how it starts?
That's how it starts.
Okay.
He doesn't care about the world. He barely cares about himself. But after an incident with an old bowl of spaghetti and a malfunctioning microwave, he becomes a superhero that can fight crime with the power of spaghetti. However, you have to pay him. There we go. That is Spaghettiman. Some people have said that if you don't like it, at least you will laugh with it. So,
good.
Fingers crossed, we are looking for some laughs. But I'm going to be looking at the good or the bad in this episode, Emma. All right, let's give a little coin toss. What do you reckon?
Good. We had bad last week.
We did have bad last week. Oh, we got the bad again this week.
Bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, we just can't control the coin toss, everyone. All right, so it's my turn to pick our categories for the movie. So if this is if for some reason you're an absolute massive fan of Spaghettiman and you've just found our episode because of that, it's nice to maybe just reiterate the idea of the podcast. So we flip a coin, we figure out if in the main episode we're going to talk about the good bits or the bad bits. In our Patreon episode, the flip side, see what we did there, we'll talk about the opposite of the film, the good bits instead. But we don't just talk about the movie in general all the time. We focus on specific categories, and each week we pick from a host of categories, and it's always different, unless we fudge it.
We can't do that.
But we've never seen this film before. We've got no idea what we're in for, so we're just going to go with. Okay, we've got casting. Okay, so the worst casting for the movie. Line, always a good one,
Yeah.
and hopefully with it being a bit of a funny film, fingers crossed. Hair and makeup.
Oh, we haven't had that for a while, have
We
we?
haven't had it for a while. Sometimes we get good stuff.
Yeah,
but
sometimes we have to substitute that for something
yeah,
else.
we'll go with the actor. Worst actor because we're looking at the bad stuff. What we got? That's 4, isn't it?
I'm finding these out very well, am I?
And last one, location.
Yeah, that one can be hit or miss as well.
I know.
Can't
I
it?
remember. I know why we added location because you watch a bad movie and they're sometimes in just the weirdest of places. But we shall see what happens. So, location, actor, hair and makeup, line and casting. Emma, are you ready for Spaghettiman?
I'm ready. Shall we have some sketty while we watch it?
Oh, yeah, amazing idea. Let's just go make some sketty. Hello, Emma, welcome back.
Well, that was an experience.
It wasn't just.
Not quite as bad as Captain America,
No, absolutely.
but
I found myself enjoying more of it than I thought
this
I
one
would.
was at least funny.
Yes.
But yeah, still a bit slow, I think.
Yeah, my biggest complaint was that it was really, really drawn out.
A
And
lot of talking, wasn't there?
yeah, and thinking about it, it really should have just been like a half-hour short film.
Yeah.
And just
There wasn't really much storyline to it, was
no,
there?
there wasn't. And they could have made it a lot tighter, a lot neater, a
Yeah.
lot quicker, and just rattled through a good story.
But I think that's what they do on these movies, and I was saying that as we were watching it, that it's filler. A lot of it is filler.
Yes.
This conversation is happening, because you said a couple of times, no need for that scene.
Yeah.
And there really wasn't. There was a couple of scenes where you could have left it out and you wouldn't miss any of the story. It wasn't adding anything. It was just literally filling up time.
There
Bit
was
like,
a moment. Oh, go on.
what was that movie we watched where the guy is just driving his car for about 45 minutes in the
Oh,
beginning?
Birdemic.
Is it Birdemic?
Yeah, Birdemic, Shock and Terror.
And he's just driving around, and we had a good 5 minutes of him just driving his car.
Yep.
Yeah, totally pointless, just filling time.
Yeah, it was. 100% it was. Like, there was one scene where a woman comes in a room, pulls a chair over, sits down next to someone,
Yeah.
and then starts talking to them.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that was a minute that you
Yeah.
could have just shaved off the film straight away.
Yeah.
Because they didn't even do it with any speed or any alacrity. Would that be the word?
I don't know.
I don't think it would be. But it
Yeah,
felt
I
like
guess
the right
a
one at the
movie's
time.
got to be at least, a bit over an hour, hasn't it? It's got to be at least sort of an
Yeah.
hour and 20, something like that.
And that's what they took. That's what they stretched out to, an hour and 24 minutes.
Yeah.
And it didn't need to be.
No.
Just did not need to be. So, let's run through the synopsis then. So we meet our hero, Clark, who I think is hilariously named Clark Kent.
Yeah.
Which there's quite a few little parody moments of
there are.
superhero movies in here. And I imagine, I know you're not a massive superhero movie fan,
No.
but they were such broad strokes that you could spot them anyway, I
Yeah.
think. Anyway, yeah. Now, we meet Clark. He's a pizza delivery boy.
Yes.
But he
Man.
looks about
Boy, man.
40 odd because he's dishevelled, baldy,
Yeah.
he's comb over, great big bushy beard. A great big bushy beard. Sorry, I have to quote Hot Fuzz whenever I say a great big bushy beard. And he's obviously awful at his job.
Yeah.
He's eaten 2 slices of the pizza that he delivers.
Yeah.
And, he's trying to convince the person that he's delivering the pizza to that it's the special Pac-Man deal. And the next thing we know, he's home. He's been fired from his job.
Yeah.
And we meet his roommate, Dale, as well.
Yes.
Dale is a failed police recruit. He keeps trying to be a policeman and failing. But for somehow he's still working for the police
Yeah.
as part of some sort of program to, do office work for the police whilst applying for the full police.
Yeah.
It's a strange thing. But we see Clark's relationship with Dale is like manipulative.
Yeah.
So Clark's like, oh, I won't be able to afford the rent, I lost my job, and Dale's like, oh, I'll cover you and give you time to get back on your feet, and he also, like, Clark is like, oh, well, look, hey, you know, when I do get a job, you better not be pressuring me for to be paying you back, because I'm going to have to save up money, blah, blah, blah. So Clark is a douchebag as well.
He is, yeah.
Very money orientated, rubbish at working.
Yeah.
Typical slacker kind of thing. Goddamn hippie. So, yeah. And, well, nothing really happens at that point. No. We have, like, Dale and Clark are having lunch outside at one point, which is a very weird scene, because then 2 police turn up that know Dale.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just taking the piss out of him, because he's just the worst police recruit in the world.
Yeah.
And in that same instance, Clark's like, "Hey, why were you putting up with that to Dale? Because, you know, they were ripping it out of you."
Yeah.
And don't worry, this is going somewhere with Dale's character.
Yes, it is.
You know, this is going to go somewhere with Dale's character, because he's an unsatisfied person. Let's put it this way.
Yeah.
Put upon, but has a moral code, I think, of tries to be a good guy, wants the people to do the right thing, etc. So at this point he then says, "Oh, actually, I can arrange a job interview for you. I know someone who works on a help desk thing for an electronics company." And this is the point where I thought, oh, right, he's got to get a job at an electronics company. He's going to put his sketty in the microwave.
Yeah.
At this electronics company, and that's where it's going to get nuked, and that he's going to eat the spaghetti there, and he's going to get... No.
Yeah.
None of that happens. It's just a scene for him to sit down with another person just talking nonsense.
Well, he turns up with his resume, doesn't he? Which is a scrap of paper.
Scrap of paper with some stuff written on it.
Just like the pizza place that he worked at.
You know, there's even a bit where they're like, "Oh, you don't have any references here," and he goes, "Oh, don't I?" And he takes a pen off of the woman's desk and then writes a reference in, and it's like, I mean, fine, that's quite funny.
I mean, we're talking a piece of notepaper ripped out, like lined paper with the perforated edge, and literally scrawl across it, like not even neat handwriting.
If you watch the job interview scenes in Step Brothers, right, that's hilarious.
Yeah,
I love that. It's brilliant. But
this wasn't that.
This wasn't that.
No.
And don't get me wrong, the woman that was interviewing him I think actually did quite a good job of being like a normal person in this strange world that Clark lives in, where this is all fine. I'm a slacker, but everything will work out, kind of thing, and just being like, yeah, maybe we'll call you, kind of thing. Yeah. So he doesn't get a job in the electronic place.
Right.
So that's not where he has his sketty accident. But we do find out an interesting fact.
Is he eating spaghetti quite a lot in the beginning?
Yes.
Yeah.
Spaghetti seems to be the only thing he eats.
Well, I guess it's easy to cook, isn't it?
It's very
easy. Any sort of pasta is quite easy to cook, isn't it?
It's even easier to cook once he becomes Spaghettiman.
Well, he just cooks it internally.
Just cooks it internally. I mean, But we do find out an interesting fact. Because it's an electronic company and he's going to be on the help desk, they do some role play. And he's like, and the woman's like, "Hi, my TV remote's not working." And the guy, and he's like, "Oh, have you tried taking the batteries out and putting it back in?" "Yeah, I've tried that. It's not working." "Well, what I like to do is just give it a good hit with a hammer, or hit it against something." Yeah. And she's like, "Do you hit everything in your house?" He's like, "Yeah, but just hit it with a hammer, and it just tends to work."
Oh, okay. So,
and I think this is what leads up to the microwave
malfunctioning.
Later that night, when he goes to heat up his spaghetti, the microwave malfunctions, nukes his spaghetti. I'm internally refusing to call it sketty. I'm already finding it difficult to keep doing it. And that's what nukes the spaghetti.
Yeah.
And gives him his Spaghettiman powers.
Yeah.
But we could have seen him just trying to cook spaghetti, the microwave not working,
Yeah.
and then him hitting it with a hammer to establish that that's how he deals with the electronics.
Yeah, true.
And then that's how the microwave malfunctions.
So we didn't need that whole interview
we
scene. Again,
didn't.
because he didn't even get the job. So again, it was just time filling, wasn't it?
I've already cut 2 scenes from the movie.
Yeah.
Gone. Anyway, we're not here to remake Spaghettiman.
No.
Although
I've got some spaghetti.
we have got some. Do you
Got the
have
props.
Do you have £45 of spaghetti that was used in this
No.
film? No. Okay.
No, but we could get some. It's quite cheap.
It is quite cheap. We could make some. You got flour and eggs.
I could even break my microwave and see if it actually would happen in real life.
Would you want to try the spaghetti
you're
or
trying
me?
it, obviously.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank God, because that's what that's what I was aiming towards. Yeah, I think you'll find a spaghetti man, not spaghetti woman.
Yeah.
It's linguine woman, actually.
I'll be pasta girl.
That's the girl.
Penne something.
Oh,
It sounds like penny.
Oh, yes.
There's
I'm
an
sure
idea
there's a
there.
joke there.
There's an
There's a
idea
joke
there.
there. If this was Spaghetti Man,
Penny
they'd
pasta.
spend 10
I
minutes
could
just.
be penne pasta, couldn't I?
You would be penny pasta.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would be. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Oh.
Anyway, let's try that. Let's hit my microwave with a hammer.
Right, we're going to go away for a short moment.
If we don't come back, it's because we're out fighting crime.
Well, that didn't
We're
work.
back.
I need to try and remember not to cut that gap.
Yeah. Your software will automatically won't
Or
it?
what I need to do is try and put in like the sound of a microwave going round.
Yes.
Ping! Okay. So, yeah, he eats the spaghetti that's gone through the microwave and he instantly starts feeling bad,
Yeah.
goes to bed, and then wakes up, comes out of the room, goes to the toilet, bumps into his roommate first.
Oh, he does go to the toilet, though, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does go to the toilet in a moment.
I think he bumps into him after he comes out of the toilet.
Yes, that's right, he does. Yes,
So he
you're
goes
right, yeah.
to the toilet, has
Goes
like
to the toilet.
Austin Powers wee, which goes on forever. Evacuation. He has like this really long wee, and then the camera pans to the toilet bowl, doesn't it? And
Yeah.
it's spaghetti.
And I said to you, I bet you he's weeing out spaghetti.
But he doesn't. He just stands there like normal, oblivious to it.
Yeah.
Now, if spaghetti was coming out, would that not feel different?
I mean, I'd like to
not
think it would.
notice?
I'd like to think it would, because spaghetti is...
Also,
Well,
don't men tend to? I mean,
spaghetti.
I'm not a man. I don't know. I've never peed standing up. But don't you kind of need to look so that you can aim? So you'd be looking, wouldn't
Do
you?
you think Clark Kent is the kind of guy who would look to aim where he's weeing?
Actually, 2 guys living on their own probably don't care if it's
Probably don't.
wee everywhere.
Do you know what? I think I've said this before, maybe on the flip side, but I take great pride
Yeah.
in knowing that I have good aim.
I told you about the guy at work, didn't I?
Yes.
That,
I think this is where the whole conversation streamed
yes.
from. Yeah.
So one of my
Streamed
colleagues.
from.
You didn't even realise you did that, did you?
Just as soon as I said it, I was like, I'm a genius.
Just comes naturally. There was a guy at work, and obviously I'm not going to name names, but one
Was
of
it
my
Thanos?
one of my colleagues found this like absolutely fascinating. But he'd gone into the toilet one day,
Yeah.
and he said this guy would pee at the urinals,
Yeah.
but he wouldn't hold it. So one day he went in and his hands were just in his pockets. And I was like, how is that even physically possible? And then he said another time he walked in and he said, no word of a lie, I'm not making this up. He said, I walked in and he had his hands behind his head. And he made eye contact with me as I walked in as if to say, like, look at me, look what I can do. Look, no hands.
This is my special trick.
And I was like, no way. And he was like, why does he do it? It's so bizarre.
Yeah.
And how does he do it? How does it not go everywhere?
Does he think, because I do this, I don't
thinks
have
it's
to wash my
impressive.
hands?
Yeah, but he kind of makes eye contact with the other guys because he thinks it's impressive.
It's not impressive.
It's so bizarre. I've never heard
It's not
that
impressive
before.
because you've probably got all sorts of little wet spots on your trousers or shoes. You're not getting away with that scot-free. I don't care who you
That's
are.
not a talent. Like,
You have to have a prehensile penis to be able to do that.
Yeah,
and it ain't happening.
No.
No.
It's bizarre, but yeah.
No.
My colleague just couldn't get over it. He was like, what is he doing? why am I walking in and like almost
That's-
like I feel like I've almost got to say like, oh, well done. Like it's just ridiculous.
That's a man with a very proud stream going on. That's
Yeah.
No, it ain't happening. It ain't happening.
Anyway, yeah, you would feel.
You would
So,
feel.
even if you weren't
would
looking,
feel
you would
pasta.
feel
Yeah.
spaghetti coming out rather than wheat. It would feel
Yeah.
very different, I imagine.
It would. It would. In a moment, he does go and see a doctor, but he does bump into his housemate Dale first. It's like, oh, where have you been?
Oh, but also before that,
Oh,
he looks.
Oh,
he
yeah,
does
he-
look down, and
Yes.
there's like I'm talking. The toilet is full up.
Full up,
of
yeah.
pasta.
Absolutely full.
He just looks at it and he puts his hands in and starts pulling it all out of the toilet and throwing it out the window.
Yeah.
Which I'm like, okay, I get it because the toilet's going to clog.
Yeah,
But
it won't flush away.
It won't. Yeah, it will clog up your drains, so you need to get it out. But it I don't know. I think I'd be in a bit of shock if that was me. I wouldn't just be like, oh, scoop that out, put it out the window.
Yeah, I'd also probably be like, ugh. And I was saying to you, oh, please wash your hands. Please wash your hands.
Yeah, we
please
didn't
wash your
actually
hands.
see him wash his hands.
We
We could
didn't.
only hope that he washed
We
his
could
hands.
only hope they didn't. But with the amount of filler in this film, I half expected them to have, if they did, just to have like a 5-minute scene of him washing his hands.
Singing Happy Birthday
Happy
twice.
birthday twice, yeah.
Yeah.
So he comes out of the bathroom, and he talks to his roommate Dale. Dale's like, "Oh, where have you been? I've not seen you for 4 days.
Yeah.
4 whole days."
Oh no, he says, "Where have you been? I've not seen you." And he says, "I've been asleep." And he's like,
Oh,
for 4
4
days.
days? That's it.
What sparked her off?
Alexa's just kicked off. What's going on?
No.
No.
What made her? We didn't even say
don't-
Alexa.
Well, now you just did.
Do you know what? I was singing that Billie Eilish song the other day. You know the one that goes, "I'm sad again, don't tell my boyfriend." Have you heard it?
No, I haven't heard it. Sorry.
But the lyric is, "I'm sad again,"
Yeah.
right? And I was singing it, just walking around the house. I hadn't even said Alexa, and I was
Yeah,
just singing
yeah.
it. And I said, "I'm sad again," and she went, "I'm sorry to hear that." I was just making myself laughing. I was like,
What
"You
should,
don't like? Why do you just randomly listen to stuff and other stuff you don't pick up at all?"
what you should be really worried about is when Alexa goes, "Actually, I've been meaning to talk to you
What, again?"
because I found some alarming behaviours. I think we need to get you some help."
Yeah.
Alexa, what? Not you too. I just ran away from an intervention with my family about
But
this.
she just pipes up at the most random moments, and you don't even say her
Yeah.
name. I thought you had to say Alexa before she.
My Alexa's completely died.
Oh, okay.
I had one of those Alexas with the screen I got for a Christmas many years ago, and it's just completely dead now. It just doesn't work.
R.I.P.
I know, R.I.P. Alexa. So I have to now go back to setting an alarm clock on my phone.
Yeah.
So painful. Oh, woe is me.
I know. it's
Woe
hard
is
life.
me. But you know what? My life's not that bad that I'm weighing spaghetti.
No,
So-
exactly. It could be
Mind
worse.
you though, if I could produce that much spaghetti that he could, I would literally start my own spaghetti stand.
Who's eating spaghetti that came out of your body?
Wait, you're not going to show them you're putting out your body.
Oh, there must be hygiene rules about this.
Yeah.
You have to have a hygiene rating, don't you?
Well, yeah,
Just
but you
selling
just
food.
what you would do is you would just like have like a delivery of spaghetti come in,
Yeah.
and then put that used spaghetti out in the trash when no one's looking. Pick up that unused spaghetti from the trash, and then have the next day
Or-
delivery. Be like, oh, some new fresh spaghetti being delivered today.
What happens if he eats a lot of spaghetti? Does he produce more spaghetti?
Oh my god.
Can he make himself produce more by eating the spaghetti and then producing more spaghetti?
But it's quite interesting because once he becomes spaghetti
Where
man,
does the spaghetti come
he
from?
does stop eating spaghetti and starts eating
Eating
soup.
soup all the time.
Yeah.
And because we were saying when that comes out, because it comes out of his hands,
Yeah.
he wheezes it out. If he sneezes, it
He
comes
sneezed,
out as well.
yeah.
So we were saying, is it hot? Is it cold? And then you said maybe that's why he's eating the soup to cook the pasta.
Internally cook the
and warm
pasta.
it up. So many questions.
Far,
And no
far too
answers.
many questions and absolutely no answers in this
yeah.
film. So what happens then?
So his friend says his friend says you've been asleep for 4 days.
Yes,
And then he says, and there's a steaming hot bowl of pasta on the table.
that's right.
And he says, I just keep finding these bowls of hot pasta and I just assume you're eating them and then you're
eating
making
it and
another one straight
replacing it
away.
with another.
Because
Yeah,
it's always hot when I see it. So where's
That's
that
right.
coming from? Because he's been asleep for 4 days.
yeah.
I don't know.
know.
That wasn't explained at all, was
That
it?
wasn't explained at all. But then he does go to a doctor.
Yes.
And the doctor's like, wow, this is interesting. He's like, I think the fact that he doesn't feel it is spaghetti coming out, the doctor kind of explains by saying, well, spaghetti is the perfect shape to come out of the urethra. No, it's not. And he's like, I mean, I've injected needles inside people's urethras, and Clark was like, why? Why would you do that? And the doctor was like, well, for science. Why
Yeah,
wouldn't you? Yeah.
Yeah, we're just sticking needles in people for science.
So the doctor's completely useless because...
The doctor's not an actual proper doctor, though, is he?
No.
'Cause he's got like a cannabis poster behind him, like a certificate thing with a cannabis.
Yeah, I think he's literally can only prescribe
weed,
cannabinoids and cannabis, and yeah. So and that's actually absolutely what he prescribes.
Yeah.
So we have so Clark's walking home after the doctor's.
Yeah.
And some woman gets grabbed.
Oh yes.
And looks like she's going to be kidnapped. And
is she being mugged or kidnapped?
Mugged, kidnapped, she's grabbed, and he says to her, he says later, I saved a woman from being kidnapped, or I saved you from being kidnapped.
Yeah.
And this woman gets grabbed by this fella, and he's like, actually, is that the one that happens first? I can't remember. Is that the one that happens?
It's a woman the first time.
Yeah, it is a woman the first time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes, it is a woman the first time. Absolutely is.
Yeah.
And there are there two guys? Possibly. No, there's not. No, there's not. Sorry. So there was so many of these different little like montages of people he saved using his spaghetti powers. But the first one, this woman gets grabbed, and he's like, "Hey, look, I can stop this from happening. He can mug you and take your money, or kidnap you, or whatever, or I can stop it from happening. But if you pay me whatever pay me $100."
Yeah, straight away.
He's like, if you pay me $100,
I think he gets like $40 the first time, or $42 or something random. It's a lot less the first time. The second time he does it, he asks for more money.
Oh yeah.
The first time it's like
I think I have missed
something.
someone in saving someone.
I think it is the woman where he says 40. He says
$100 to the woman. I've got 60. Will that do? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
That'll do.
So I think he gradually builds up, doesn't he, to a bit more money each time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's right. He asks for money, and they say they've got so much in their bag, and that's when he works out.
No, I have missed one. Oh. It's a guy getting beat up by two goons as his first person, because that's where he finds the paper bag, the brown paper bag as a mask.
That's the guy that gives him
$42. Yeah. So the guy's getting beaten up by two goons, and he's walking through an alleyway to get home, and this guy's getting beat up, and he hides away, and he's like, "Oh God, please don't let me." Oh. And then, he comes out and he hits them both with spaghetti from his hands.
And that's the first time he realises he can do that, is it?
Yeah, something like, And, I mean, he's got a brown paper bag on his head. And if anyone who knows comic books knows, I was like to you, that's actually quite a fun little callback.
Yeah.
Through Spider-Man when he joined the Fantastic Four for a bit and wore a brown paper bag as a mask because he didn't have one.
But Spider-Man surely does that temporarily and then gets a mask.
Yeah, but it's a very famous image of him with the brown paper bag. You can even, like, if you play Spider-Man the game, like, one of the skins you could get for him is the brown paper bag mask version of Spider-Man.
Also, this is, I think, for comedy effect.
Yeah.
It's got like a big grease stain on it. The eyes that are ripped out of it are like so big that, and like one's like falling down that you can see his face anyway.
There's not a lot of anonymity in it. Absolutely not. So he saves this guy that's getting beaten up by goons, and he's like, and the guy's like, "Oh, I don't know how I can ever repay you." And he's like, "Well, have you got any money?" And the guy's like, "Well, I've got."
Oh, yeah, that's how the money starts.
I've got like 2 20s and a bit of change, and he walks away with $42. Yeah. He goes home that night, sees Dale, and he's just like, "Hey, I've just made $42." And Dale's like, "How?" And he's like, "I saved the guy, and he paid me." And this is the beginning of Dale getting annoyed at the fact that he's like, you could be a superhero, and you should be just doing it because you're a nice guy.
You should be doing it just to help people and be good.
Not to take money off of people, which is fair, But also, if you've seen in the Spider-Man movies or the Tobey Maguire ones, he lives in a shithole, and he doesn't get paid for it, and he's always losing jobs, and he's always being chased for rent. So I can kind of understand in today's climate, why a superhero would need paid. But ultimately, he's very much committing extortion on people.
Yeah.
It absolutely is.
But he can shoot the spaghetti out of his hands,
Yes.
almost like Spider-Man with his webs. Mm-hmm. And the spaghetti sort of hits people and it can knock them out, can't it?
Yes.
So it must hit them at some force. And it's like, we're not talking a little bit, we're talking like a big clump of, like a bowl full of
Yeah, it's a big clump. And it's not like a thin
no, it's just like a big
stream, and he's not swinging through the streets
spaghetti.
on it. Yeah.
So that he does that, and he shoots that at people, and that can knock people out. Mm-hmm. But he also has got like fighting skills, hasn't he? Like he can fight people off as well. So that his powers are spaghetti comes out of every orifice and his hands,
Pretty much.
and he can fight better.
It's fair. I mean, what other powers would you want?
I mean, what more could you want in life, really?
That's it. Free spaghetti.
Endless amounts of spaghetti.
All you need is sauce.
Yeah.
That's it.
I mean, if you meet a mate that has an unfortunate accident with some sauce and can produce the sauce, you're set. You're good to go. You can set up your little business. I mean, they do. The only thing is with setting up your own food business is that the food inspectors will come round and they'll look at your setup and hygiene rate you.
Yes.
So if you say, "Oh, actually, I pee out the spaghetti," they might give you a 0 rating. It won't necessarily close you down, but you're not going to get a good food hygiene
But then
rating.
no one ever says, "Oh, you can't use that silk thing because it comes out of a silkworm's bum."
But you don't eat silk, do you? Do you?
Well, I mean,
Oh, how much money have you got if you're eating silk?
quite fancy. I'll microwave it first, just in case it gives me Spider-Man powers.
Yeah,
silkworm powers.
Silkworm powers, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's the flaw in your plan, but
There is
go for it.
fine. There's a flaw in my plan, but you just have to when you're being searched by what's the name, health and safety, you just cook pasta normally on those days.
But,
Wouldn't you?
I guess.
I suppose maybe. Now we are we get a whole sort of montage of Spaghettiman saving people, and I mean sometimes he's doing okay with it. The woman that he helps from being kidnapped, he flings spaghetti trying to hit the kidnapper, but hits her in the face and she gets knocked out, and the kidnapper's freaked out and runs away at that point.
Yeah.
And he hangs around until she wakes up. So at least he's not a complete dick. No. But really he's just hanging around to get paid.
Yeah.
So there's all these kinds of little scenarios, and then he decides that he wants to he practices. So then we get a practice montage of him flinging spaghetti at cans and bottles and all sorts.
Yeah.
And he also decides that he's got to put himself on Craigslist so he can get better jobs.
Yes.
And the first job that he gets from Craigslist is this guy's been kidnapped. His girlfriend calls the number. Her boyfriend has been kidnapped because he owes drug dealers a lot of money. Yeah. And so Spaghettiman turns up and she's like, "Oh, can I get you anything?" And this is where he starts eating soup. "Oh, you can get me some soup." Yeah. And he's sitting there, and it's quite funny because he's spooning soup out the bowl and he's moving his mask forward and
his paper bag.
It's quite funny, and that carries on all the way throughout the film whenever he's eating soup, and that I appreciated the recurring sight gag of that. But so he finishes his soup and he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go." He's off to go rescue Gary, and he gets to this house that Gary's being held hostage in, and there's 6 or 7 people that are there. And he accidentally kills pretty much everyone with spaghetti.
Yeah.
One guy punches him and rushes at him, and he throws the spaghetti on the floor, and the guy slips on the spaghetti, and you see him fall and smash his head on the side of the table. One person stabs him, and
he gets shot, doesn't he?
he gets shot first.
He gets shot, and that doesn't do anything.
And it does nothing to him.
No bullet wounds, nothing. Just go straight through.
The spaghetti heals him.
Yeah.
And then he does get stabbed, and then he absolutely does not accidentally kill this person. He pulls the knife out of himself and then stabs the person that just stabbed him. So, he's not a great superhero here.
No.
And there's a bit as well where he then does save Gary, but how he saved Gary, I will leave because I've got this down as like a wild card good scene.
Okay.
Okay, but he saves Gary. Gary's being held at gunpoint to his head, but he does manage to save Gary somehow or other.
Yeah.
But we'll talk about that properly. So he gets Gary back, he gets paid. But every time he does something for someone, it's followed by him putting his hand up and rubbing it together like, money please.
Yeah.
So he's very much just extorting people all the time. We keep having, and this is not in the right timeline, but I'm just going to throw it in here because don't forget about Dale. During all of this, we also keep having all of these little cut scenes where Dale is talking to himself and getting more and more annoyed at life. We also see him open up a letter that says he failed his exam again.
Oh, yeah.
And they're also quitting the programme.
Yeah.
So he's not going to have a job either.
Yeah.
So Dale's life is falling apart. And before that happened, I was like, I even said to you, Dale's going to become the big bad villain.
Yeah.
And what happens?
He becomes the big bad
He
villain.
becomes the big bad villain. So we are also introduced around about this point to two new characters. One of them is a journalist who has been following Spaghettiman around, filming all of his exploits. And another one is a serious criminal who is got no problem with hurting people. So we'll talk about the journalist first.
So this is slightly different to Spider-Man, isn't it? Because Spider-Man,
Is the
Peter Parker
journalist.
is the journalist.
Well, is the photographer,
photographer.
Yeah.
Taking pictures of Only he can get the pictures of Spider-Man, can't he? Because he's just obviously...
Always at the right place at the right time, yeah. But this guy, this journalist is making money out of the videos because he's like, and I said to you, it's like Nightcrawler. He's paid to provide videos of accidents and all sorts. So he's doing this for Spaghettiman. Spaghettiman finds out he's doing this and they start to team up and he's like, right, well, I'll let you know where I am and you can follow me and blah, blah, blah. So we're introduced to that character. This guy has a pregnant wife as well, Katie, I think. I can't even remember the name of the guy.
I can't remember
their
names, but
if I remember right, Dale, Clark, and the camera guy, the journalist, are all writers of the movie as well.
Yes,
so
you said that.
I think they're all, and one of them even directed it, or one of the writers directed it as well. So yeah, they're all very much, we're giving ourselves the best parts kind of thing. We have, so there's this whole thing where Spaghettiman and journalist guy are doing their thing together, getting filmed, making money. Clark's annoyed at the fact that the money's going to take so long to come through. Everything he does is money orientated, etc. Now, Dale has gone full villain by this point.
Yeah.
Okay. And the next time we see Dale is after we're introduced to our new bad guy, who is having to do his own dirty work because Spaghettiman has taken out all of his men throughout town. We meet him beating up a fella and taking money off of him. Like, I don't know, is he a loan shark? Is he just picking up gambling debts? Is he just extorting someone? No idea, but he's beating someone up for money. And then the next thing we see is a voice out of the shadows sort of saying, hey, I like the way you work. Spaghettiman is taking out all your crew. I want you to work with me so we can take him out. And this new guy's like, who is this? What's going on? And he's like, it doesn't matter who I am. Next thing you know, a big torch is shown on his face. And he's like, all right, okay. I know Spaghettiman. I can take you to, I know his weaknesses and we should work together. We then get, right, while Clark, Spaghettiman and the journalist are off doing their own thing, we then get these really shit scenes of Dale as what his alter ego now is, the Shadow Man, and this bad guy auditioning new goons. Yeah. But because all of the other goons have been taken out by Spaghettiman, all of the new goons are useless, they're idiots, they're just goons. The worst of the worst goons, right? So we have all these really crap scenes of this and them training, and it's just stupid. Anyway, I'm cutting a lot of the film here because so much of it was just absolute filler. But
I mean, little things like Dale just sitting there talking to himself and stuff like that. Little scenes like that. Just
little bits
so
like
unnecessary.
that. Dale has this plan that they're going to discredit Spaghettiman.
Yes.
Earlier in the movie, Spaghettiman helps a young homeless boy by feeding him some spaghetti.
Where did it come from?
Out of his hand this time, I hope. It's
still been inside his body, though. It's weird.
It's still from inside his body, I know. But he helps this young homeless guy. Anyway, later in the movie, he gets this call, and he goes to the area to where he got this call to, and it's the young homeless guy on the floor. But at that point, the bad guy turns up, grabs Spaghettiman. Two of the goons grab Spaghettiman from the back, and he's got a gun to the homeless boy's head.
Yeah.
Shoot, and he's like, he calls the police, and he's like, "Hey, homeless guy, speak into this phone and tell them that Spaghettiman did it." And Spaghettiman, and this is, I thought this was quite funny, but it was ridiculous. Spaghettiman says, he won't say that. I helped him out. He's my pal.
Yeah.
And the young kid goes, Spaghettiman did it. As soon as he says that,
throws him the gun, doesn't he?
Well, he shoots the homeless kid.
He shoots him, and then he throws the gun to Spaghettiman, and Spaghettiman catches it, and we're like, "Oh, come on! I could never commit a crime."
I literally shouted out loud,
"Even I know
don't
that.
catch it!"
Yeah, even I know fingerprints and forensics. So he catches it, drops it on the floor, goes to run, then comes back and rubs it down a little bit with his sleeve.
Yeah.
But I mean, your DNA's all over that.
DNA's all over it. So.
And you've probably got CCTV of you running from the scene as well.
I know. So, but the thing is as well, that doesn't seem to work.
No.
There's no sort of blowback from that.
No.
So then Dale goes to another plan. Dale trashes the house that they live in and kind of beats himself up.
Yes.
Spaghettiman comes home, sees what's happened to Dale, and Dale is like doing this to be like, you got to go and get the guys that did this and pay them and teach them a lesson.
Yeah.
But actually, Clark does the absolute opposite. He steps up, he looks after Dale, and he nurses him back to health.
Oh, yes.
We have this whole sort of montage scene where he's feeding him, he's in a bath with him, washing him.
Yeah, that's odd. He's sat behind him, straddling him in the bath. That's just bizarre, that thing.
I know.
Like washing his back.
And it did make me chuckle though,
Which,
because it's
by the
like,
way,
he's taking it too far.
But that bath was the driest bath I've ever seen. There was literally no water, like talcum powder on his shoulder.
Yeah, because there
He's
can't
just
be a
got a
lot of
sponge
water
in
in
his
it. You've got two large fellas sitting in the bath of water. It's been pushed out.
I mean, it's so odd, isn't it?
I know. And we have... Dale's obviously annoyed at this. He's like, why don't you just go and deal with the people that beat me up?
Yeah.
So it's not working. So Dale says, right. He calls up the other bad guy. I can't think of his name.
No.
He's introduced more than halfway through the film. So by that point, I've switched off from learning character names. So Dale calls him up and is like, look, we need to do plan B.
Yeah.
Okay. So plan B turns out Spaghettiman and journalist guy get back to his house. And we've already been to the house and met the pregnant wife, etc. But they get back to the house and the wife is gone.
Yeah.
And there's a note about the wife being taken, etc. Blah, blah, blah. And to call the number.
Yeah.
And they're like, what number?
It's literally a piece of paper, like, pinned to the wall with a knife, isn't there? Yeah.
And the journalist guy is very quick to work it out. He's like, the only person that knows I'm involved with you is Dale. So call Dale.
Yeah.
Calls Dale, and Dale's like, oh, hey guys, what's up? And they're like, oh. And Clark's like, oh, thank God. Dale's being so nice on the phone, it can't be him behind it all. So, and he's like, oh, thank God. Everything's fine. Oh, that's okay. Don't worry. And then Dale goes, I suppose you want to talk to your wife before we kill her or something like that. And it's like, oh, dun, dun, dun. Dale is the bad guy. So they find out where to go. And Clark turns up to this kind of dojo-y Jimmy place.
Yeah.
And proceeds to take out all of the henchmen.
Yes.
One after the other. You know.
Oh, but there's
a scene where they are talking about how they'll take out Spaghettiman. Is that what you mean?
No, I was just going to say about the guy who's in the dojo,
Yeah.
who is clearly does martial arts because he's
Oh yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
some
He's
sort of kickboxer or
he
something.
takes out all the goons and then he has the big
Yeah.
boss fight. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's clearly knows what he's doing, and
Yes.
he's like, maybe a kickboxer or some sort of martial art.
Yeah.
Um,
I think that'd be fair to
he's
say.
ripped and he's like got all the moves, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. Yeah, and they so Clark takes out all the goons, and then this fella's like, "Oh, I suppose I'm gonna have to do it myself." And him,
He's like the Jean-Claude Van Damme
yes,
of the movie,
yes,
isn't he?
absolutely is. So Dale and him now fight, and no, not Dale. Clark and him now fight, and although Spaghetti Man is given his own, he's fighting away.
Yeah.
This other guy's obviously far too good.
Yeah.
Right. Beats up Clark. Clark has his ankle smashed.
Yeah.
And his ankle when it's smashed turns into spaghetti.
Yeah.
And then he's on the floor and this guy's just smashing away at him. And Clark slowly turning into more and more piles of spaghetti himself.
Yeah.
Until he gets to the stage where he now I forgot to say this. The film actually started with this scene of Spaghetti Man having his head smashed in by this fella, and then it says 27 days earlier.
Yeah.
So he has this. He gets smashed in, and Dale comes out. And he's like, "No, this isn't how it's supposed to happen. He was supposed to learn to fight for good and not for money."
Yeah.
So all of this, kidnapping a pregnant woman, killing a homeless guy, beating himself up, was to make Clark a good superhero.
So this is what happens in so many movies. So to try and do good, you've done so much bad.
Yeah.
So like Taken, for example,
Yes.
that comes to mind because
Yeah.
he obviously goes out to France to find his daughter. But he causes like a massive car accident.
Yeah.
Like literally like loads of cars involved. He kills people. He goes on this rampage around the city. Several people are dead or injured. He's caused loads of disruption and damage to the streets and people's property but all of that is fine because he's saving his one daughter, and it's like he never gets held accountable for any of that stuff, all the crimes he's committed in saving his daughter.
I want to see a movie about the person having to fix all the things that Liam Neeson has done around Paris.
Because he's literally running around and it's just carnage. And it's like, obviously the message is like, you're a parent, you do anything to save your child, blah, blah, blah. But you would be arrested for several crimes along the way.
I love my children, but if any of them are taken by an Albanian gang, I'd probably be like, well, that's the last I'm seeing of them. I don't have the necessary skills.
Yeah, but you don't have a certain set of skills, do you?
I have not honed those skills over years.
You wouldn't be able to kill them.
I would not be able to find them. You're right. I would not be able to kill them. And I would not be able to walk away from several explosions that I've been in. It just wouldn't happen.
I mean, you wouldn't be able to trace somebody down just by the phrase, good luck.
Taken would be the shortest movie in the world if it was me.
Yeah.
First of all, I couldn't afford to send my daughter to France for the summer, Europe for the summer. No. It wouldn't be happening. No. Like, well, I mean, first of all, Emily would come along. Dad, I'm going to go to Europe for the summer. On whose money?
But listen, you've got the perfect excuse.
The end.
For not sending them anywhere, because if they ever say to you, Dad, look, there's this amazing trip. I want to go, to Europe.
I'm sorry.
Have you seen Taken? Have you seen the film Taken? That's why you're not going.
So my son Robert, when he was about 12, 13, said he wanted to join the army.
Yeah.
So I played him the opening of Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, if you want to join the army, you go.
Let's watch this first.
Let's watch this. So absolutely, if any of my daughters are like, I'm going to go backpacking around Europe, well, I'm going to show you a little film called Taken.
Show them. There's loads of movies.
Hostel.
And like based on true stories and stuff as well. You can show them loads of things.
Yep.
Hostel. Yeah.
I mean, it's not. I don't think Hostel's based on a true story. It's a bit far fetched.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah. The thing is, you watch movies like that and you think,
I just want to
actually go on somewhere.
I just want to instill a healthy fear into my children of going anywhere and doing anything.
Put an ad in the paper for. He was a cannibal and he wanted to kill and eat somebody.
Yes.
He wanted them to consent to it.
Yes, that's
and
right.
A guy actually replied to the ad and he did eat him. And I think he even fed a bit of himself.
Yeah. Was that Germany? I think that happened in,
Yeah,
was it Germany?
I've been listening to loads of
Again,
true
Europe.
crime podcasts.
Again, Europe.
Yes, and but it actually happened, and it's like
we need to do a true crime podcast. Should we just
honestly,
change to a true crime podcast?
I've been listening to this true crime podcast, and some of the cases they cover, I mean, they're horrendous, but they're so fascinating because you're just like, this all actually really happened, and it's madness to think.
Yeah.
And the amount of people that commit these crimes and then just go about their day and their life and just act like nothing's happened and try and cover it all up. And you're like...
I know, it's madness,
you must
isn't it?
have something so wrong in your brain, A, to even do that to somebody, but then B, to just carry on like normal, not be affected by it, and just be like, I'll get away with this. Like,
I know.
And like I think I was saying to you yesterday about a lot of the Google searches, they check, obviously, devices when somebody they're suspicious of somebody, they'll check their device. Some of the Google searches, how to poison someone, how to get rid of a body. It's like, do you not think the police are going to... They always look at the people closest as well. They always look at family and friends.
How to perfectly throw spaghetti at someone to kill them.
Yeah. They'll always look at your family first. They'll always rule them out first, won't they? Because a lot of crimes that happen, like violence or murder...
The perpetrator is known to the victim.
So they've got a motive. Yeah. And it's someone knows. It's not very often... I mean, it does happen, obviously, but it's not that often that someone just goes on a killing spree and it's just random strangers. I mean, that happens, obviously, but there's a lot of crimes that are committed, and it's domestic violence, there's problems at the home, it's parents killing children and things like that. It happens all the time, like it's awful. But then I suppose, like you said yesterday, they're not necessarily intelligent people, these people that are committing crime, so they're not thinking about, and they're not obviously not thinking straight either.
The one that you told me was the police officer who was blackmailing
that was on,
someone.
24 Hours in Police Custody, show.
And I find, and I was like...
through his whole career away from his dad.
You can't be that smart. You can't be. I think there are issues with intelligence if your idea to make money as a police officer is to blackmail people for going to...
And he'd got all of his search history. It was like how to make money illegally.
Why not search how to make extra money
exactly
legally?
And then it was like he had a ransom note. He had a copy of it in his bin in his house. They went through his bins. They went through his laptop. Yeah. They found so much incriminating.
I suppose as well, there's also that... is it sometimes, maybe it's not so much so a case of a lack of intelligence, but it's also just like a kind of a hubris, thinking, I'll never get caught.
I think when it's police officers... Because there was that, was it Sarah Everard? Is that the one that the police officer stopped her and said, you're breaking lockdown rules and killed her?
Absolute monster.
I think some of them get so arrogant with, I'm in the police, I'm the authority, I've got the power.
I'm untouchable.
I won't get caught for this because I am the police kind of thing, which obviously police are still going to investigate. If someone's found murdered, they're going to investigate. And there's going to be the thing is, DNA is so good now. Their forensics is so amazing now, what they can do.
And the UK is one of the most, I think the UK still at the moment is the most CCTV covered country in the world.
Exactly.
So
and you've
there's
got
so much
ANPR, so automatic number plate recognition. Yeah. That's everywhere. So you drive around in your vehicle. There was one, what was the one I was listening to the other day? It was a husband had killed his wife and he tried to cover it up and said she's missing. And he'd gone out in his car at like 3 o'clock in the morning to get rid of the body. And they were like, we've picked you up on ANPR. Your car has been out at 3 o'clock in the morning. He left his 2 young children in bed and went out to get rid of her body. And
that just blows my mind.
That's how they caught him, because they were like, where were you on this night? And he obviously lied and said he was at home. Yeah. And they were like, why is your car being seen, caught on camera, at this location, at this time of night? Why are you out and about at that time of night? And he tried to deny it, but they were like, we've got you on camera. Yeah. It's madness to me that you think you can go anywhere or do anything. I mean, even just ring doorbells.
Yes.
You walk down the street and people are going to pick you up on their ring doorbell. So if there's something happening in that area, they'll go and knock on houses and check ring doorbells. If something happened at the park opposite my house, they could come and knock on my door and go, have you got ring doorbell footage? And I'll go, yeah, you can have a look at it. You can go back. I think you can go back 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
Like, even that, you're walking past several houses that are going to pick you up.
Yeah, you are.
You go into
yeah.
a car park, you go anywhere, and they've got cameras.
One of
picking
my
your car
colleagues,
up.
well, one of my colleagues, someone I used to work with many, many years ago in the Royal Bank of Scotland, okay,
Yeah.
was like talking about what would be the perfect murder, okay,
Yeah.
and she said, just driving to a quiet village one night and just killing a random person
Yeah.
and then driving home.
No motive.
No motive, just a completely random, etc.
CCTV around in a village.
But absolutely, your car's going to get picked up in that area, leaving that area around about the times of the murder.
Yeah.
Your license plate. I mean, and what do? You rent a vehicle? Well, your name's on the rental stuff.
Unless you give a fake name, but you'd have to have ID.
And you'd have
probably.
to have fake
have to show
ID
your
made
driving
up to look like
licence,
that.
don't you?
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Yeah.
And and I was like,
that's mad.
you're never. You think, oh, it's completely random. You've driven away, way away from your home address. Yeah, you're still going to be picked up in areas. Anything could catch you like that. And then another person at work was like, oh, you could just stab someone with like an icicle. Stab them with an icicle. Because there's going to be no fingerprints. There'll be no trace of a murder weapon.
Does that work though? Is that strong enough
it doesn't.
That'll break,
Well,
won't
I
it?
mean, if it's big enough and thick enough, I suppose, and you
Where
keep
are you going to
stabbing
get one
away.
like that from in England?
Exactly. But then it's like, well, actually, stabbing someone with frozen stuff like that, they'll know that it was something frozen you stabbed them with because it does damage to the cells. It does damage to the cells and that sort of thing
But you
in the
can
wound.
also
All sorts of things.
Also, there's things like there's been cases where they've pretended someone committed suicide when they've been shot or something.
Yes, yeah.
They can tell by blood splatter.
Yeah,
and things like that. The way the blood splatters.
Angles, yeah.
Like, because there was a dad who adopted this another one that I've listened to on the true crime.
I think I know this story as well.
The dad had killed an adoptive daughter, so he had two of his own kids, and then they adopted a daughter. They were in the house together, and the mum was out.
Yeah.
And he said that she was outside doing something in the garden to earn some pocket money for something she wanted. I think she was cutting the grass or cleaning something. She was out in the garden, and he said, I had to go to the DIY store, so I left her. She was like 15 or something, like older. She was old enough to leave. He went off to the shop with his other two kids, and then he said first of all he'd gone the wrong way out of his clothes. They was like, why did you go that way? It's longer. Then he'd circled a roundabout twice because they caught this all on camera, and they were like, why have you gone round? And he was like, oh, I was going to change my mind. I thought it was too late to go to the shop, but then I just went round the roundabout again and decided I would go. Then he got to the shop and said he forgot his wallet, so he didn't buy anything. And then he came back to the house. What actually happened was he'd killed her. He'd been at the house and killed her, panicked, they think, and went out and then thought, shit, what do I do? And then came back and thought, I've got to deal with this. And they could tell by the blood splatter. So he'd said, someone's got into the house, killed her while I've been out. But he had blood splattered on him. And they could tell by the way the blood was splattered that you wouldn't have got it that way from just picking her up and holding her, like if you found her body. It would have happened that way if you'd stabbed her. Like if you'd killed her, that's how the blood would have hit your body. Whereas if you'd have just picked up her body afterwards, like, like if you found a loved one on the ground bleeding to death, you might go over and touch them, but it wouldn't be splattered up you. So they could tell by that he did it. He killed her because there's no other. Oh, it was with a tent pole. It was like a big metal tent pole that you would peg a tent down with. She'd been stabbed with that, and they were in their shed. The tent poles were in their shed, and he said that an intruder had got in, stabbed her with the tent pole. But it was actually
first of all,
him.
why?
Exactly, and
Why?
They also had no evidence of anyone passing the house or going into the house, like with any local cameras. There was no person that kind of went that way at that time. So they found out that it was him. But just think that you can't. I wouldn't even be able to begin to think. There's so much they can do with forensics.
Yeah.
I don't know why anyone's committing crimes and thinking they're getting away with it now.
How do you think forensics are around spaghetti-based murders, though?
Well, they could probably tell by the amount of spaghetti, the texture.
It was
maybe
al dente.
they taste it that it had come from the human body rather than being cooked in a pan. This has been cooked in a stomach with soup.
There's a faint hint of minestrone here.
Yeah. I mean, they could tell if it's come from the penis or the sneeze.
Oh,
But yeah,
God,
they'd find him out.
They would
He wouldn't
find
get
out.
away with it.
They wouldn't get away with it. And by the way, the movie doesn't end there.
No,
Spaghetti Man isn't dead.
No, he's not dead. He comes back, doesn't he?
Yeah, he comes back. He pulls himself together, literally.
Yeah.
The spaghetti pulls himself together. And he kind of... We get this shot of him in the superhero knee pose. Yeah. And, like, he just kind of flicks. Might I add, one single piece of spaghetti, uncooked, through the bad guy's head and kills him.
Yeah.
Right? So...
Again, I mean, a piece of uncooked spaghetti would snap as easily as anything, wouldn't it?
But now, where he's been beaten up, killed, and smashed like that, okay, now, when he's been pulled back together in this big this kind of explosion of, like, whatever, and he kills this guy, we pan up and we see that his mask, his brown paper bag mask, is perfect.
Yes, and it's got perfect eye.
Yeah, perfect eyeballs.
Yeah.
So it's like it's
like an upgrade.
Yeah, he's upgraded as well, and it's like, oh, for God's sake! Okay, fine. You've upgraded your powers as well, and that's why as well. I think now he could throw an uncooked bit of spaghetti as well, because he's fully in touch with his powers. He doesn't have to just throw cooked spaghetti.
Yeah.
So Dale runs away. The journalist and his wife are okay, and then they're like, okay. And he's like, "Did you see that? I beat everyone up. I killed this guy. I died, and then I pulled myself back together. I'm amazing." And they're like, "Yeah, that's all great, but are you going to go and get Dale?" He's like, "Oh yeah, I better go get him." Anyway, Dale's up on the roof, and it's like rooftop showdown. Up he goes on the roof, and then Dale's like, "I made it so that you did all this just for the good of it."
Yeah.
And Spaghetti Man is like, "No!" But then Dale's going to jump off of the roof. Spaghetti Man throws spaghetti onto his foot, sticking him to the roof.
Yeah.
So he doesn't do that. And then the two police officers that were bullying Dale earlier turn up on the roof.
Yeah.
And then start bullying Dale. And Spaghetti Man runs away and leaves him to it, because they're like, "Hey, you come back here," and he runs away.
Yeah.
Gets in the car with the journalist and what's her name, and they're like, "Hey, you did a really heroic thing," and he's like, "Yeah, for free. You saved my wife and my children, yeah, for free." And he's really annoyed that he did it for free. And then he has this really great idea, and he gets out the car, and it's all like superhero music, and he's walking away from the car. And then he gets back in the car and he's like, "Actually, I live 11 miles away. Can you give me a lift home?" End of movie.
Yeah.
It could have ended 15 minutes before that, easily.
Yeah.
Just by cutting out a lot of that gumph.
Yeah.
I mean, I cut a lot out of that film.
Yeah.
But ultimately, that's what happened. But there was an hour and 25 minutes of that.
Yeah.
Now, we've got to talk about the bad bits of this.
Yeah.
So, we've got lines, actor, hair and makeup, location, and casting. Okay,
well, I can do actor, casting, and hair and makeup in one go.
Okay. Go on.
So, actor, bad actor, Clark Kent.
Clark Kent, yep, okay. Our Spaghetti Man. Okay.
I mean, I put him down for bad casting as well, because he just doesn't look like... whether that was the joke, he just doesn't look like a superhero whatsoever. But yeah, you sort of said in the beginning, he's got like... he's really balding on top, but then he's got long hair at the back.
Yeah.
So we're talking sort of Bill Bailey kind of look.
Mm-hmm.
And then he's got this big, untidy, messy beard. And he's just not... He just doesn't look like a superhero. And like I say, whether that was like part of the joke, because this man is the least likely superhero ever.
Yes.
And like hair and makeup, I just thought, his hair was just awful. Just like shave it off. If it's completely like gone on top, don't keep the bit down the side and the back. I thought he was pretty bad. But then I don't know. Looking at it now, I think, did they do that deliberately because they couldn't have some like...
Yes.
Like, you know, most of the superheroes are like good looking, in shape, and you know, I don't know if they did that deliberately because it was Spaghetti Man.
Yeah, I think so. See, I actually had it down as the opposite way around in terms of like actor. I had
Yeah.
him down as my good actor,
Oh, okay.
funnily enough. But I had Dale down as my bad actor.
Yeah.
Because if I saw one more scene of him talking to himself
Yeah.
badly, like Gollum in Lord of the Rings,
Yeah.
because there was a
Odd,
scene
wasn't
where he
it?
was like
Doing
but
different
I could-
voices, yeah.
yeah, but I could, I could be doing good for the world, and it's like, oh, you could be teaching them a lesson, and just
Yeah,
it was just
it's
really
odd.
bad. It was just really poor,
Yeah.
and I always think, sometimes doing bad actor in that, I feel mean. I feel a little bit mean
Yeah,
because
because there was a script, but
yeah,
it's the way he did it
yeah,
was bad,
yeah,
wasn't it?
It
Like
was.
the voice he put on for it was just weird.
No.
Yeah. No,
So-
I can understand that.
But I don't particularly have bad hair and makeup because I think picking on someone for balding is mean, Emma. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I would never do that.
You would never do that. No, you'd never do that. No, but I mean, I don't have it. I don't actually have anything for bad hair and makeup. I mean, bad casting. I'd probably say most of the goons.
Yeah.
Just. But then again, I suppose they were bad for goons because they were supposed to be the worst of the worst.
Yeah.
Because all the other goons were taken out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess so.
But you know what's woefully in this film, right? There were a lot of male characters with a lot of things to say. All the main cast were men. And you had lots of different female characters turning up through this film. One of them that got the most sort of screen time was the journalist's wife, Katie.
Yes.
And every single female character, was played by someone who was acting any of the men off the screen. They were much better than every single one of the men in the main parts.
Yeah.
But then I suppose if you've written the movie and you're directing the movie and you're casting yourself in the movie, you don't have to be good,
Sing the
do
theme
you?
tune. No.
But then if you're auditioning people to be in your movie, you're going to pick the best people to be in your movie. And they were
Yes.
woefully
But
underused.
I can't help but think when you're doing a very low budget movie, you're picking the best of a bad bunch.
Yeah.
Because anyone that's a really good actor is going to be doing a better movie or auditioning for a better movie.
You say that,
So you're
but it's not.
casting-
That's not how it works.
Okay.
It's just not, because you could be amazing
But just haven't had your break
and just
yet.
haven't had your break
Yeah.
yet, or you could be Tom Cruise and you're shit,
Yeah.
but you are the world's biggest superstar. Or you could be Jared Leto and be absolutely fucking awful in every single film you're in.
But still be getting movies.
It's mobbing time, but still be,
Yeah.
hitting
Or
the
you
big
could
time.
be J-Lo and making
You
your own
could be
documentary.
J-Lo. Yeah.
Making your own movie.
And you're spending 20 million on your own film, vanity
But
project.
you've had to have so much success to have
Yeah.
20 million to spend on a vanity project, haven't you?
Or,
Did you see her at the Met Gala
yes, I did.
being rude?
Oh, I didn't see her being rude. I just didn't
someone
think much
says,
of her outfit.
Oh, what are you wearing? And I don't know what the name was with the designer.
Yeah.
But she looks round and goes and says their name and looks at her as if to say fuck off. And literally just says the name of the designer. and
J-Lo,
walks
that's
on.
that's what the Met
It's like
Gala
you've just
literally
been
is.
ripped to shreds
Yeah.
on social media because you did that god awful film and that god awful documentary about the film, and
Yeah.
everyone's saying how narcissistic you are, and everyone who's interacted with you in real life has said you're downright rude.
Yeah.
And then you do that. Literally, yeah, that's all it's about is the fashion, isn't it?
I just googled it there. Yeah, literally, Jennifer Lopez gets roasted for being rude to a reporter at 2024 Met
She
Gala.
literally just said, "Who are you wearing?" And she just said the name, but looked at her like a piece of shit, and
Yeah.
then just walked on. And I was like, "Oh, you could say, oh hi, yeah, I'm wearing so." She said it as if to say you should know who I'm wearing. It's like, well,
Just by the look of it.
that's why we've asked, because we don't
Yeah.
know, and we want to, that's what we're asking everybody, because that's the whole point of this thing.
I looked at some of the outfits for the Met Gala.
Oh, crazy!
And there was a far, I don't, I'm not going to say I'm the most fashionable person in the world, but there was a vast amount of outfits there that were not good.
No.
But I tell you who looked amazing.
Who?
Sam Smith.
Oh, I haven't seen his.
Sam Smith's outfit, I thought
Normally he looks awful lately.
it
To be honest,
was,
the clothes he wears.
yeah, but he looked
Okay.
amazing. I absolutely loved the suit that he was wearing. It's fantastic. Let me get a decent picture of it. The trouble is it's black, so it's difficult to make it out. But the actual suit itself is something else. So you see, it's like a really wrapped around double-breasted suit.
Yeah.
And I think it looks really, really dapper, really good with, like, and I suppose as well, Sam Smith, they look really good. And their partner is wearing a completely matching outfit, but just in white. And I think that is such a good look.
And
such
that's
a good look.
So far removed from what he's been doing lately.
I kept saying him there. I know, sorry everyone, but it's them, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know why I always really struggle with Sam Smith for some reason and getting their pronoun right.
Yeah.
Even though I know it, I do it all the time. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah.
But they look fantastic. I really like that look.
Yeah.
But so many other Met Gala looks were just like, somebody didn't understand the assignment.
They just want to go so crazy with it, don't they, and over the top with it.
Yeah, but
and
then
outdo each other.
But then also, I think
they just look so uncomfortable as well.
Yeah, but then
and
I'm
the older
also
I get, the more I want to be comfortable.
In this day and age, the Met Gala, is it really something?
75 grand a ticket or
75 grand a ticket or something.
People were on social media going, cost of living crisis, and they're all flaunting their 75 grand a ticket night out, and it's like, yeah.
But I found it really interesting.
You're going to have that in life.
Someone explained the story behind the meaning, like there's always a theme, and this was called the Garden of Time.
Okay.
Well, the Garden of Time is a novel or short story, whatever, about an aristocratic family who are living in a beautiful mansion and they've got everything they want or need, but there's a horde of peasants coming to destroy everything. But they can pick a flower from this garden and it will set time back, giving them more time with what they've got in their perfect ideal life until they pick the last flower. And then the hordes descend. But then, and so it's how they're giving themselves more time with this opulence, etc. But by the time the hordes get there, and because they've manipulated time, by the time the hordes get to the house, it's a desolate waste. Because all the resources are used up, kind of thing. So it's like a good parable, really, for something like the Met Gala. Yeah. It's a lot of rich people making themselves look wonderful, while a lot of poor people around the world are just suffering at the moment. Yeah. So I hope they got the irony themselves. Anyway. Yeah. This is not Spaghettiman. This is Met Gala Man. Yeah.
We're just filling time.
I found myself looking at the outfits and thinking, oh no, just dreadful, not good, not good at all. But also, how much of that was me thinking, oh, one day we'll rise up.
Is
and
it
we'll
just jealousy?
It's not jealousy. It's absolutely what it absolutely is just my hatred of the super rich. And how
Spaghettiman's got a better fashion sense.
Yeah, Spaghettiman.
See how I brought it back round then.
Well done. Thank you very much, because I was going to start going into a rant about billionaires and anyway, like I despair for the world. Anyway, So let's think about bad lines. Okay, what about bad lines? Have you got any bad lines?
Yeah, I've got a couple of good lines. But
I've got a few good lines.
I don't know whether this is a bad line, whether it's just what happens afterwards that made me put it as a bad line. But when Clark goes to the doctors, they get talking about him peeing out spaghetti, and he says, he asks him, "You would drink spaghetti pee?" And the doctor says, "No, but I don't like spaghetti." And then he pees spaghetti into his mug, and I think that might be why I put it in bad lines, because I was just like, ooh.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
And it's just the whole idea of him asking if he would drink it.
And even worse after that, there's a bit of spaghetti hanging over the lip of the cup, and the doctor flicks it with his finger, and I know. Grim. Yeah, and I think it's a lot of that is not just the line about it, but it's also the whole part
idea of it. Yeah,
absolutely, I agree with you. Have you got any more bad lines?
No, that was my only bad one. I've got a couple of good ones.
I've got a couple. Yeah, I've got a few good ones. I do have a couple of the bad ones, but I don't know if they qualify.
Oh, okay.
And I'll tell you the bad lines, and I'll tell you why I don't think they qualify.
Yeah.
So he's trying to get himself a catchphrase.
Yes.
We don't know this. He doesn't specifically say, I'm thinking of a catchphrase, here you go.
Yeah.
But he does some certain things to bad guys, and then he says a line.
Yeah.
And the first one was that I heard him say, and it was just, oh God, was, you can shut your mouth and eat a bowl of justice. Right?
Yeah.
Dreadful. Dreadful. There's no mention of pasta at all.
No.
All right? So it's just eat a bowl of justice. No good. And then the next one was, you've been served spaghetti.
Oh.
So now there's mention of spaghetti,
Yeah.
but he's just knocked a guy out. That's not anything around like being served. Being served is given legal papers, etc.
Yeah.
Right? That you're being taken to court, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So that doesn't work there, but at least he's included spaghetti.
Yeah.
However, they were terrible, cringeworthy attempts at catchphrases.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where my worry is that they don't qualify for bad line, because in the film they referenced that they were terrible lines and that he shouldn't have said them.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if I can include them in bad lines.
Yeah.
And I need you to make a judgment.
Well, we make our own rules, so I'll say yeah.
Fantastic, brilliant. And they are bad
what you
lines.
want.
Yeah. And if you're listening to the
Our
episode,
podcast, if you don't like it.
yeah, if you don't like it, tough. No, if you listen to the episode and you disagree, if you disagree with those being bad lines because the movie references them as being bad,
Yeah.
then let us know in the comments, all right? Find us on social media at I See Bad Movies for Instagram, all
Yeah.
right? So yeah, that I've got those as bad lines. But the movie is full of bad lines because there's so much ad-libbing going on in the scenes. And I think that might be why so many people are down as writers, because they've just said, oh, this is the idea of the scene, just keep going.
Yeah, yeah.
And they've kept it in, and they just absolutely should not have.
Which, in a decent movie with good actors,
Yeah.
ad-libbing is sometimes some of the best things that happen.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh yeah, I just threw that in, or I just thought of this on the spot, or I just had this idea.
Yes.
And it's great, and it just works. So if you've got like a good actor that knows what they're doing, then you've got a good scene anyway, and then they just run with it. You can get some of the best parts of movies that way. But in a bad movie, not so much.
No, absolutely. I always remember back to, this isn't a movie we've watched, but this is a movie I watched for 50p Movie Club many years ago. And we watched this movie called Q, the Winged Serpent. Mm-hmm. And it's about a giant winged serpent attacking New York City.
Yeah.
And there's one scene in it where I think they're on top of not the Empire State Building, but the other one that looks like it, the Chrysler Building.
Oh, okay.
They're on top of the Chrysler Building. And it's all the police there. The winged serpent is just attacked, and it's massive.
Yeah.
And David Carradine, his character, the director must have said to him, just say something cool.
Yeah.
Okay, there's a cop standing next to you, just say something cool to them. And this massive winged serpent is just attacked. And David Carradine turns to the cop and goes, big. That's the line. Like, yeah, we know it's big. Yeah.
That was panic setting in.
Yeah, that was the panic. It was
They gave him like the opportunity to really shine there, and
Yeah.
he panicked.
Yeah.
And they left it in.
Oh God, I don't know what to say.
He had nothing else in his locker.
And I can imagine in his brain, everyone's going, Jesus Christ, he's locked up.
I bet he still. How old is this movie?
1980s.
If he's still around.
No, David
bet
Carradine died.
Oh, okay.
I think he died
But
of
I
autoerotic asphyxiation, actually.
Oh.
Yeah.
I bet for the rest of his life after that, he would wake up in the middle of the night in cold sweats thinking, shit, I said that. That was all I could come up with. I bet that haunted him for the rest of his life.
Oh God, yes. Yeah. Oh my God. I bet it did. How did actually... What did cause his... Yeah, it was, erotic asphyxiation.
Oh, okay. That's not how you want to be found, is it?
Yeah, no, it's not how you want to be found.
You. It's just like, oh,
no.
That's grim.
Bless him. Big part of my childhood, David Carradine, watching the watching, oh my goodness, Kung Fu, the TV show. Oh, yeah. Wow. Anyway.
So did you have any other bad lines?
No, just because there were just so many, it was impossible to write them all down. So I just decided, like, no, I'm going to just make a thing out of the bad lines there. Okay, what about bad location?
I didn't have anything for location.
No, I know.
And what was our other category that had nothing for?
I think the only thing I would say about a bad location is having a rooftop showdown with absolutely no showdown at the end.
Yeah.
What's the point? What was the point in it?
There wasn't.
You know, you get our hero and our bad guy up onto a rooftop, and it's interrupted by two cops.
Yeah. Why
were the cops on the rooftop?
How did they even get there? Yeah.
Yeah. What brought them to the rooftop?
We'll never know.
I know. You just expect something out of a location like that, you know. Even, you know, like a shot out over the city, the bad guy, the good guy facing off against each other, but nothing. You could have been on any rooftop in any city in the world for all we knew. You could have been on the floor and just put a fake chimney next to them, and we would not have known. Real shame. Mm-hmm. Have you got any other wild cards though about bad things out of all of our categories?
I haven't. Have you?
No, it's a very strange film in that respect, isn't it?
Yeah, there's nothing jumping out of any of our categories really that I thought that's worth mentioning.
No, I know. I mean, no, not even any. There weren't even any stunts.
Not really, no.
No, there's not even any special effects really, because the spaghetti's just kind of thrown out of hands and that sort of thing.
Spaghetti just thrown.
It's just all very kind of just a little bit meh all the way along. Yeah. With just some funny bits and some funny nods to things.
I wasn't falling asleep like I was with Captain America, but I was a bit bored at points, but at least it did have a little bit of humour in there.
Yes.
But no, there wasn't anything that I thought that's worth even noting down.
So, would I recommend people to watch this film? I think I would.
You would?
I think I would. But don't sit there watching it, you know, without your phone in your hand kind of thing. You know, don't sit there watching this film religiously thinking you have to keep up with every single minute of it. Yeah. You're not missing anything if you walked away for 5 minutes and went to the loo, washed your hands after weeing out spaghetti, and then came back. Yeah. You wouldn't be missing anything. No. You'd probably miss just a load of talking that you just didn't need to worry about. So I think I would recommend it, but just to say, oh yeah, I watched this film called Spaghettiman, and it was a pretty passable parody of Spider-Man, but with spaghetti. Yeah. Would you recommend people to watch it?
No.
I knew you would say that.
I think I would. I think it was just like we've said, it was too drawn out. There was no need for a lot of the scenes, so it just made it boring, because if there's no point to a scene and there's nothing going on, just leave it out. Like don't, or have more of a storyline so that you have got, you know, movies should have, every scene should have a point in the movie. Yes. You're telling a story in a very short space of time, which could be set over any length of time. Mm-hmm. You know, some movies are a day, some movies are over years. You're telling this story in a very short space of time, so every scene should have something relevant in it. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's totally pointless. And this movie was just, it was filling time, wasn't it?
It had a lot of unnecessary filler. Yeah. Absolutely did. Yeah, I mean, they just, you know, it could, like I said, I think if this was a 30-minute short film, I think we'd be talking about it in a very different way. Yeah. It'd be tighter, it'd be neater. The you know, I mean, someone would have reviewed the script and or, you know, cut out lines that weren't.
And we always appreciate needed. A short movie. It's to a point, don't we?
Because we're so old. Well, I am.
We end up watching them late, so we're always happy if they're a bit shorter.
What we have to do is we have to stop.
Maybe we could do
catching up about things.
Yeah, just stop talking and being friends. Yeah. And just literally down to business.
Literally just do this. Yeah.
Yeah. We could do a season on shorts. Short movies, couldn't we?
Oh, thank God you said short movies, because I was thinking, listen, we already had the controversy of my salmon-coloured shorts last year. I don't know if we
But
could
we could do like
watch a whole set of
just
shorts.
like 20, 30-minute movies.
Oh, that'd be good.
Short
A whole
films.
season on short
Yeah.
films.
We'd just be done so quickly. It'd just be like, it wouldn't even take long to discuss it because the synopsis would be really quick.
We could knock out the whole season in one day.
Yeah, we could.
Start early.
That's going to happen. We could do some specials of some short movies though
Oh yeah,
for our
yeah,
patrons.
yeah. I'm trying to think. I'll have to try and see some like terrible short movies. A lot of I hate to say this, but fan made stuff of.
Yeah.
That seems really mean because like a lot of people are fans of stuff and they
imagine
put their heart into making.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay, all right. I'm gonna have to. That's gonna have to be my job is searching up
That's the homework.
short terrible movies.
Yes.
Okay.
Right. So we rate
Yes.
Spaghettiman.
What are you giving us out of 5 stars?
What did I give Captain America? 0.
0, yeah.
Was it
No,
minus?
you give it
Was it
minus 5.
Oh,
Minus 5.
So bad.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give Spaghettiman 1 out of 5.
1 Michelin star out of 5
Yep.
for the spaghetti
Because-
restaurant.
Only because there was some humour in it.
Yeah.
So I'll give it a point for that.
Okay.
But that's it.
Just 1 star.
Yeah, what about you?
I would give it 2.
Okay.
I would give it 2 because I think and there's a little bit of me that was like geeked out a little bit, like, oh, because I even said to you, oh, because that's funny because Spider-Man used this, and so there was a couple of little geeky bits like that were like, oh, I get why they're doing this scene.
Yeah.
And there were some really funny bits in there. We got quite a lot of montages.
We do like a
We
montage,
got
okay.
we got a saving people montage.
Yeah.
We got a practicing montage. We then got a saving people better montage.
Yeah.
We got taking money off of people montage.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of montages. So I'm going to give it 2 stars out of 5.
Okay.
It wasn't dreadful,
No.
but neither was it entirely entertaining.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fair.
yeah. And that's how I generally feel about spaghetti.
Yeah.
It's not dreadful, but it's also all right.
Yeah.
You know, it really depends on the
amazing.
sauce you get
Yeah.
with it, I suppose.
True.
You know, and
It always tastes better if it like gets cooked and come out of somebody's body as well.
yeah, I suppose. Yeah.
I'm guessing. I've never eaten spaghetti that's come out of somebody's body, but I'm guessing. Well, I hope I haven't. Oh goodness!
There's no way
I've
of
been to
knowing.
restaurants and had spaghetti. I hope I haven't had
There's
any.
no way of knowing
Yeah.
that was not
I'll never know.
Spaghetti
I'll never
Man.
know. Yeah.
ejecting spaghetti from his body directly onto your plate,
Yeah.
and then just ladling bolognese sauce.
Where did that come from?
As long as it's not bolognese sauce.
Oh.
Oh no. I think I'm just going to cut that one.
Yeah, you won't. You'll leave it in.
Yeah, I probably will. I was quite proud of it. All right, so 1 star from you, Emma, for Spaghetti Man. 2 stars from me. Yeah, I say give it a watch. Emma says don't. So if you don't watch it, we know that you love Emma more than me. That's fine.
Do what you like. It's your life.
I accept that fact. But yeah, if you could come and join us over on,
The flip side.
and we'll start to talk about the good bits, and there are some good bits for us to talk about. So yeah, and maybe not so much true crime on the
Yeah.
flip side. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll just stick to
Yeah,
spaghetti
sure,
crime.
Spaghetti. Yeah.
Spaghetti crime.
I wonder if there are any spaghetti crimes that we could look up.
Maybe we'll look back in the pasta at cold cases. Eh?
Goodness.
We'll get our teeth into some al dente spaghetti crime. All right, anyway, bye.
Bye.